A Rapid City man has built a miniature version of America's first official national monument in his front yard, which raises a lot of questions, one of which is why. Turns out that question has many answers as we go along the way to meet the man who built his own personal replica of one of this area's biggest attractions. To truly appreciate Neil Zetah's yard work, it helps to understand his perspective, his objective, and his philosophy on art.
I guess I like to create artwork that is taking real things and then putting them in places or situations that you've never seen them before.
Take, for example, Mount Breadmoor.
Everything that's rock is now bread. Rolls, loaves of bread, whatnot.
Or this one, a fish casting a line to catch a human, and his three-part series featuring Dinosaur Park.
One where the dinosaurs all leave the park and go down to Canyon Lake for a nice, cool, refreshing dip. And then the second one is where they go downtown during the 4th of July celebration. And then the third one in the series is they're back on Dinosaur Hill. And this time, it's the Carnivore Carnival.
His picture-making days are largely past, although not by choice. His latest inspiration began when a black walnut tree was cut down in this very spot.
And when he cut the tree down, it was about that high off the ground, because he cut it about waist high. And then at that point, it looked like Devil's Tower to me.
The stump is now at about ground level, but when many might have the stump removed, Neil had an idea. 4 years, multiple versions, and who knows how many hours of labor later, on top of that old stump sits a mini Devil's Tower made of
cement and the stuff that you put in between cracks of cement. It's like a expansion kind of product, like a rubbery compound.
Yeah.
And I use that for a lot of the outer part of it. It's easier to work with and form, so I use that primarily on the outside.
And no surprise, he's added some flair by including features that aren't really there at the real tower, like the Theodore Roosevelt Tunnel.
He is the president that actually made Devil's Tower the first national monument in the country.
He's built a flowing waterway around the tower, a remarkable detail, especially considering this.
And I fall down a lot. Some days I fall down 100-200 times, so my knees have taken a real beating.
That's right. Some days, he says, 100 to 200 times per day he falls. Neil is fighting Parkinson's disease.
On the driveway, you might notice some X marks. Sometimes those X's mark gives me my brain a target to look at and something for my feet to aim for.
He says he first noticed symptoms about 17 years ago, and the Parkinson's has progressed.
And one of the things they told me to do is to keep busy. The worst thing I can do is just lead a docile lifestyle and just sit on the couch. And so I found this to be therapeutic and a way for me to keep busy and active.
The Parkinson's has ravaged his motor skills, so the pictures he used to create are now part of his past.
I'm glad I did it at the time, because now I have something that I can go back and look at and still share with people.
Last summer, at a Parkinson's fundraising hike up in North Dakota, there was a surprise guest.
Then they announced that Michael J. Fox was going to join the group, and I thought, what? And I thought, this is incredible. This has got to be a dream, you know?
Parkinson's often impacts older folks, but for Zetah and for Fox, it hit early.
It was the first time I've ever talked to somebody that I knew was speaking my language and understood what I was going through.
Despite his muscles not cooperating with his brain, he still finds a way to create something people appreciate.
I've had people that will stop and say, that's awesome, or that's really cool. I've had people lay on my lawn trying to get the right shot. People ask for my autograph, which just blows my mind.
Because while Parkinson's can fight his body, it cannot steal his heart for art. Because no matter how many times he's fallen, Neil Zetah is still standing, just like the tower in his front yard. If you've met someone cool along the way, please call or email us to let us know. And one of Neil's Dinosaur Park posters is for sale in the gift shop at the park. That poster is also used for fundraisers by the Park Foundation Board, which raises money for city parks.
Very cool, incredibly talented, and that's just a really neat story. It's great he's stayed active. We all kind of get to enjoy it.
And you talk about persistence, falling 100 or 200 times per day, getting up, getting up, getting up, and keeping on moving forward.
Yeah.